Hello, friends. Well, I didn't know that there was going to be a fourth video on surrender, but after yesterday, it just felt like there's more. So I'll find out more about what that more is today. So we're going to talk a little more about surrender, and I want to thank you for those of you who have commented on the previous ones. And it really shows me that this is alive in people. And many times we don't talk so much about it. I mean, what are you going to say to your friends? I just long for God. I just want to be connected back to the divine. Those are not the common conversations we have. So I'm really happy to open it up here so we can have that conversation and maybe normalize it more because it seems to be current, I would say. So, as I shared about the surrender part, the first part was really about like, nothing is working. It seems like I don't know what to do anymore. The old world still looks like it's here, but engaging in it doesn't work. Either it doesn't work practically, physically, or inside you just go like, I'm done. I'm really done. And then it's really hard to know what to do next because we're so conditioned to go to like, okay, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? Taking a pause and just taking a breath and just wait and be quiet and allow the next doing to come to us. That is, again, it's not common for most people, but maybe it is, and we just don't talk so much about it. So as we see this world as we know it crumbling, um, it's really learning to, hands off. Don't touch the crumbling if you can, just to your best ability. There's no perfection required because perfection is part of the old paradigm. That's part of what is crumbling. We're moving more into authenticity and internal inspiration, movement from something inside that we can't grasp, that is more subtle and a lot more powerful. So we are at this place, and I really think this is a very, very important place to be consciously. So we want to make it more conscious again today, that we're not that you don't feel hopeless or helpless. It's like, well, what am I going to do now? So instead of letting that reaction run you, I would say allow yourself to feel that reaction of helplessness or hopelessness instead of being identified with it. It's part of the old dissolving, it's coming up to be met, not to be engaged in and be moved by. So just let it come up. Let yourself feel that hopelessness. Let yourself feel helpless and just experience what that is like. Because when we go to that place where we have no more hope for our separate sense of self, we feel helpless. We don't know what to do. And it's the separate sense of self that is trying to stay alive, that's treading water and trying to keep the head above. But we really need to let ourselves sink down this time out of that mind, all the waves and all the tsunamis that are going on in the mind, all the dramas and traumas. We need to, again, not bypass them, but allow ourselves to fully feel them so that the grip on the wave, let's say, when we just, instead of fighting it or going with it, we just feel it, we soften around it. And then the energy in there softens, and it's like we can just start dropping down deeper into our being, into the stillness inside. And that is where the new earth, our inspirations, our actions, our next steps will come from. They're not coming from these frazzled, scared, uh, overactive waves that are all in the mind. We do not want to build or create the new earth which is coming in with those energies. And that's why we are in a deep state of surrender. And if you need help with that, then please reach out. It's huge, letting go of your separate sense of self. It's everything, it's all you know. And the way the separate sense of self works, and of course, the separate sense of self is who we believe ourselves to be based on lifetimes of having been identified with this little character that was always doing something to survive, to be successful, to make money, whatever it is. That whole identity, that is what this world is built on. And we do not want to do that again. That's why when you really see that, there will be a part of you that's actually a little excited. It's like, oh my God, this all is going to go away the way we have been doing it, that apparently didn't work. I mean, if you look at the world right now. So we have to see that. And then there has to be maybe a curiosity or a willingness to find out, what is it going to be like if I don't engage? And the answer may not come right away, but I do believe the answer is already there when we learn how to listen. And you know how often I talk about the deep longing in the heart, right? That we long for something better, for something else, for something that feels good, that makes us feel at peace or enlivened. That feeling, that is the new earth. And we can call it the new earth, a new paradigm. We can call it the divine expression without that layer of veil, that layer of simulation, of lies, things that are not true, because they're separate from the divine and they cannot survive. They can survive for a little while, maybe a long while, but eventually it's going to crumble. And that is what we're seeing in the world. It has run its course. Not everybody is seeing that. Most people don't see it. And that's why now they're going in there like, oh, we have to try harder. And now we're going to do more of this and more AI and more vaccines and this and that and fighting against those and making them wrong. That is the initial reaction to seeing that everything is crumbling. We can choose to do that differently. We want to start really listening to this inside. And that is what we are going to surrender to. Now, we do not know what it is with the mind. So in a way, we can say we are surrendering the mind. We are surrendering what the mind believes is needed, or basically what the mind believes. That is what we are surrendering. So we have been so identified with the mind that that's been our go-to for everything, except if you're blessed and lucky that you have had that source connection, that soul sense that has been active in you. But for most people, and even though we have that, there is still the tendency to go here for answers because we are so programmed to do that. And I'm not saying this is easy to let go of, but I am saying that it is possible, and we must. There is no other way. If you keep going here, you are creating more of the same, and it will keep crumbling because its time is up. I only know that because I know it in here. That's all I can say. I have learned to trust this more than anything. I do not engage in all that nonsense out there anymore. The fear mongering, the convincing, the making right and wrong and whatnot. It's absolutely boring to me. This is not boring to me. And it's not boring to me to share it because there is an aliveness in there. And that is what I want to hopefully inspire you to connect with also and really start trusting it. And if we are walking around on our own with this feeling, we don't know what to do with it. We don't even know if it's true. I mean, we do know it's true, but why am I the only one, right? And that's where many of us have found ourselves and maybe are still finding ourselves, and we don't know what to do with it. So that's why I think connecting with other people who are on that same wavelength is really, really important. And this coming Tuesday, I do have my monthly online gathering where we really start, diving into what we long for, what lives in there, what is this new earth that we're feeling, and do we even know what it is yet? But we know we're done with this, but what do we do now? Well, what we do now is start feeling into what do I want? You can ask yourself, do I want more of that? Probably not. Unless you're very attached to survival still, then you'll probably want more of it because that's where you believe that your survival depends on. But once you move through that and soften through those waves up here, the fear-mongering waves and the survival, once we can just allow ourselves to feel that, then we can start dropping down into our body, into our heart, into our soul, into our hips, all the way down. And then listen. Just be quiet and listen. What what do you want? What is your soul trying to communicate to you now? In the beginning, it's very hard to know what it means or what it is, or if it's that, is it my mind? Can I trust that? It's all these things. It's like we're moving from an old system that is collapsing into a new system that is not alive yet. It's not fully activated yet because you're not in here connecting with it. It is activated. It just takes for us to go there and open up to it. And if you need to sit there for a minute, an hour, a day, a year, that doesn't matter. The most important thing for all of us now is to connect with that. And it's going to look different for everyone. It's going to take different times for each one of us. But the commitment has to be here. And we need all of us, we need all hands on deck here, or all hands on the heart. And make ourselves available for that. That's why I feel so passionate about it, because the more I talk about it, the more it comes alive in me, the more real it becomes. When I started sharing this, there were doubts. There was like, who am I? Is it true? How can I trust that, right? But it was so alive that I couldn't get away from it. So I just shared it. And, I always try and be very transparent here and not pretend that I know more than anybody else and that I still have my doubts about certain things. But I want to say also that the more I've been sharing this, it's almost like it's become this solid rock in me. And it feels really good. So I can't get away from it anymore, and I don't want to. And I want to share it, and I want to reach many people so that you can also go like, oh yeah, I feel that. Can I really trust that? And then when you hear somebody like me sharing and or many other ones, then you feel more that connection, like, oh, okay, so then I want to stay here longer, not just dip in and dip out because nobody else is doing it. I want to dip in because other people are doing it. And so there must be some truth to that. And that's common how it is in the beginning. We like some kind of a confirmation from the outside. And when we're all alone with it, there is this sense of doubting it. But the more confirmation we get, we go like, okay, I really want this. I really want this. I wasn't sure what it was, but now I hear you guys talking about it. Yeah, I really want that. And that is really my invitation for all of us to to take this seriously and not take the outer seriously anymore. You know, we are not here to get lost in that dark old paradigm. That's not why we came here. You know that, right? Somewhere deep down. We're not here to engage in that and try and, keep it balanced and stuff. No, leave that thing alone. It's gonna crash. What's we're seeing in the world right now, it's probably just the beginning. It looks like the whole old system is going to crash. And I'm not trying to be negative or fear mongering. It's just like, hey, this is happening, but this is happening too. So now let's leave this thing, let it die, let the people who want to engage deal with that. But we are going to go here and we're going to make ourselves available for the new paradigm. So, what we're surrendering to stay with that theme, is we are surrendering to that deep longing, which is the divine knocking from the inside, just announcing itself like, hey, I'm here. Whatever you feel in there is a longing. That's me. It's the divine. It's your true divine essence. It's your soul. It's not something out there. Well, it is out there too. It's one thing, but it connects with you here in your unique way. It's an individual expression, but it's still the same expression. So that's where we want to be, and we want to surrender to that. And the surrendering part, it always comes with a deep sense of not knowing, right? Because we know the old. That's why we want to hold on to it. We do not know this yet. So before we can really trust it, there will be kind of a gap where you don't know. You simply don't know. And that can be very scary. I do have a chapter in my book about that, not knowing, and I also have a meditation about it, actually. I think that goes with the book. So if you want to check out my book, I'll put the link in the description, and you can check that out. And it comes with a meditation, a little audio you can download. So letting go of the old. Here's a gap where you don't know, but you can start feeling something. You can feel the new. But you don't know it yet. So learning to dance in this sense of not knowing, in a felt sense of not knowing. We go up here when we don't know, and we try and find something we can know. Not knowing comes with a real felt sense in the body. It's real. It's a real experience. We don't want to cover it with the fear and trying to know. Then we're not feeling the purity of not knowing. And that's why I made this little meditation, just to help you really sink into that felt sense of not knowing. And the more we can be in that, and we can stay in that, then we start tuning in to something new that is already here, my friends. It's already here. And that is what we want to surrender to, like make ourselves available for. We don't know what it is, but we can feel something that resonates. And then when you start sharing that in whatever way you do, you don't have to do a YouTube. It can just be, maybe writing it or making a song or a poem or share with one friend, whatever. The more you start sharing it, it's like you start pouring it out. And the more you share and the more you pour, and then the more comes through. It's like your portal opens up as you let it come through, and then more and more will come through, and all the fears and doubts, they kind of get washed out. So there's more and more. What used to be just a little creek, maybe it's becoming a bigger river, and finally it just becomes the whole ocean. But it all feels the same because it's the same good energy that's coming through. And you're just being an instrument or portal for it. It's very impersonal, very impersonal. It's really surrendering that separate sense of self. Pernilla, in this case, Pernilla has no clue. She just tunes in and opens up. That's it. So that's my invitation for today. We call it Surrender 4, and I don't know if there's more coming. We'll see. All right, my friends, I hope you can take that to heart. And again, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, comment, and come and join me on Tuesday for my online gathering. It would be lovely to see you there and interact besides just watching me here. Thank you.